Well, howdy, folks. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're over here in Spring Hill, Florida. We're going to be heading over to the Daytona area, actually Bunnell, Florida, this morning to hang out with Rogers Landworks this morning. We're going to see how they get things done over there. In the meantime, take a look at what shows are coming up in the next couple of months, because it is the beginning of 2025 truck show season. So check these shows out, and hope to see you there. So we've made it to Rogers Landworks, and some of the guys have left already. Some of the guys here are checking in and getting things going. All right, so Chase is out of the office. We're going to jump on the truck and we're going to go get into some stuff. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Morning, Chris. How you doing?
Doing well. Well, thanks for having me here today to ride along and see what goes on here at Rogers Landworks. I'm going to hop in and we'll get into it.
Sounds good. We're in for an exciting day.
All right.
This is our shop, back at our shop, where we have our facility where we maintain all of our trucks and equipment, as well as a debris processing facility where we take in tree debris and land clearing debris and organic materials, and we process it, size, reduce it, grind it, screen it, and then we resell it. Everything that comes in here leaves in some sort of manner. It's solely a recycling facility. Recycle 100% of what goes on here.
How many acres are we looking at here in terms of what you got?
This total piece here, the entire piece with the barns and everything on it, is 45 acres.
Okay, and then how much of that acreage do you have material sitting on?
I'd say about 18 acres.
Oh, wow.
Between the shop, the yard.
Okay. So some of the usages of some of the material that leaves here, where does it go?
So anywhere from, we make different types of mulch products. We make, this is a clean hardwood mulch here, which is strictly clean hardwood. It's separated from all the rest of your organic debris, and that is sent directly to mulch manufacturers, who then they color it and they bag it or sell it as bulk. And this same material ends up at your local Ace Hardware, Home Depot, those kind of places.
All right, cool.
We make a mid-grade product that you see out the back, the big pile. That is strictly boiler fuel, so we'll take that up to mills and certain power plants, and that gets burned to run their boilers and gets turned into power.
That's awesome. What I always thought was really neat as a kid, years and years and years ago, is how mulch retains heat and creates heat.
Yep.
Give us a quick lesson on why that gets hot like that.
So basically it's internal combustion. So these piles, they sit, and the outside will be cold. It's 52 degrees here right now. But if we thermometered some of these piles right now, and we try to move this material as quickly and as fast as possible, but if you don't move it within 4 to 6 months, you'll dig down and you'll have an open fire inside the pile. And from the outside, you'd never know it, But that pile it's 52 degrees. The inside of that pile is probably 100 to 110 degrees right now.
Wow.
That's why you see that, all the steam coming off the piles in the mornings.
Yeah, that's cool. So you said you move things as quickly as possible. So what's like the turnaround on some of the material that comes in?
So some of the hardwood, this hardwood mulch, right now we're in the mulch season, for landscaping. So we had our big rush. We hauled, I think just earlier this week in this season, we hit 1,000 loads of 100-yard loads of mulch to our mulch manufacturers in the last 3 months. So that's 100 yards of load, 1,000 yards.
Wow.
That they turn in color. Now, as soon as summer hits, they're going to shut that down. As soon as summer hits, they're going to shut that down to maybe 5 loads a week, because nobody's putting out mulch in the heat of the summer. As soon as fall picks back up, they'll ramp it back up. So it's very seasonal.
Why?
So
why is it seasonal?
Just, I guess the people, they don't want to put mulch out in the cold, and they don't want to put it out in the blazing sun.
That makes
but
sense.
You got the spring projects and you got the fall projects when everybody wants to work outside, and that's how the mulch companies run.
All right, folks. Well, you got a quick lesson on what the mulch season is like. I had no idea that there was a mulch season.
Yep.
And I'm really fascinated by this. I've not been here to Chase's place, but I'm fascinated already, because again, trucking, we all know trucking plays a part in every industry. And so, how you and I met was through the 75 Chrome Shop truck show, again, which is coming up in April, a little plug. But hopefully we'll get to look at some of the trucks that you've brought. Well, I can put some footage up right now so you guys can see what the trucks look like at the show. But that's how you and I met.
Yeah.
And I had a little squirrel moment, a little idea moment where I thought it'd be cool to come and see what you guys do here. So thanks for inviting me.
We're great to have you. We appreciate it.
All right, cool. Well, whenever you want to move along, just take us for a ride or whatever you want to do.
Sounds good. Yeah, the logistics part of this. I mean, I tell people all the time. They ask how we grew so fast, and you got to have the logistics. Everything here is based on trucking. Mm-hmm. This material doesn't come in here without trucks, and it doesn't leave here without trucks. Mm-hmm. This equipment doesn't come in here without trucks. It doesn't leave here without trucks. So everything is based on trucking. Mm-hmm. And we don't get paid. We get paid when the material comes in. We get paid when the material gets sold out. So that it's all based on the logistics and based on the trucking.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I'll run you through. We'll run back around and run through real quick, and we'll come back here later when the sun's better.
So let's talk about some of the machines that you got working here.
So over here we were screened topsoil. Mm-hmm. And we constantly loading that out, selling that. That also gets sold to the mulch manufacturers and gets bagged. It also gets sold here bulk in the dump trucks and goes right back out to job sites.
Okay.
And goes to local mulch and stone dealers where they sell it bulk.
So you got your rubber tire over there working.
Yeah, so we got a Volvo 110 loader. We've got a Finley deck screen here. Some of the equipment here in the yard is, our majority of our equipment's out on jobs, so this is kind of whatever's free is here at the yard.
Okay.
We've got a couple Volvo 300s over here. We've got a Volvo 145 over here. Cat 320.
So these guys are sorting?
Yeah, so basically the loads will come in, whether there are trucks bringing in land clearing loads or the general public, tree services, garbage companies bringing in yard waste. They'll dump out here and we'll sort. We'll sort hardwood, we'll sort the stumps, we sort all the palm trees, all the regular land clearing debris, we sort all that.
I don't separate it. Is that the tub grinder over there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the grinders right there.
Okay. I was gonna say you got all those stumps over there. I didn't see a grinding machine for those.
So cool. It's a Peterson 5710 horizontal grinder.
While Chase is on the phone, I wanted to get a shot of this grinder and also this service truck. Talk about stepping up the game on what service trucks look like. I mean, there's other service trucks that are pretty good looking I've seen throughout the last couple of years, but you know what? If this pulls up on the job site, I would expect some pretty good service as far as what's going to happen with getting everything repaired or just maintenance calls and whatnot. It's a good deal. I'm digging this so far. If you guys are enjoying what you're seeing so far, let me know, because I'd like to be able to get into other situations and other industries that do revolve around trucking. So send a message, Chris at bigrickvideos.com, so we can highlight your company or your employees and things like that. And you never know what city, state I'll be showing up to next and what is going on with my shirt here. So is this one of your trucks coming in?
Yeah, that's a 2018 Western Star.
And it looks like he's empty.
Yeah, he's empty with a Peerless walking floor, going to get loaded to go back up to the mill.
Okay, where's the mill located
That's
at?
up where they're hauling to today is in Fernandina Beach, about 2 hours north up here by the state line.
Oh, okay. East Coast.
Yes, East Coast.
That's what, just south of Jacksonville?
Just north of Jacksonville.
Okay.
It's right up there in, it's literally 200. It's the last exit before you get to the Florida-Georgia line.
Okay. Well, you got trucks rolling in and out of here. How many trucks are you running currently?
Currently, semi-tractors and trailers, we run 22 in total with roll-offs and dump trucks. And some of our smaller trucks, we're up to 35 trucks.
Wow. So 22 Class 8?
Correct, yes.
And
combinations. And the trailers, we've got multiple trailers. We've probably got 30, 32 trailers between some of our spare trailers, spare walking floors, spare dump trailers, flatbed, step deck, log trailers. We got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, yes, you do. All right, let's dig right into it because we're still early into this video. how did you get started? And tell us, take us way back to the beginning to understand how you got started.
So I was in middle school. You know, I was always working. I worked with my dad on weekends. He was in the healthcare and the gym industry, and I would go help him mop the floors at the gym and cut the grass. And I worked in middle school. My mother would drop me off over summer at some country clubs in Ormond Beach, and I maintained the tennis courts and worked in the out in the field there and fixing stuff and did that through 6th, 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, and then fast forward into high school and being able to get my first pickup truck. And at the time, scrap metal was real high, and so I was scrapping metal for probably a year and a half. As soon as I turned 16, I had my truck bed fully loaded down with scrap metal, and I $150, $200 a day cash.
Nice.
At 16 years old. So I just kept saving and reinvesting. Same thing we do now, reinvesting back into my stuff. At the time, I didn't have a business; it was just me, and I was going to go into the fire service and be a firefighter, and think, well, I could do this on the side, and 24 on, 48 off. And I bought a trailer, hauled more scrap, bought a lawnmower, started just doing odd jobs for people, and throughout high school, this is in my junior year and senior year, and I would get parking tickets at high school for pulling the trailer to school every day and taking up 6-8 spots. And
wait, hold on a second. You're taking the trailer to work there to school?
Yeah, yep.
Just why?
Just because I had work lined up right after school and I had to go.
There you go.
And junior and senior year, I didn't graduate early, but I had what they called the OJT class, where we got out early, to go to on-the-job training. Well, on-the-job training was my company. So we went, and I went out as soon as we got out early, and I think I went for 3 periods in junior and senior year, and at 11 o'clock I was out working. And then I hired a guy, one of my friends in high school, work with me, and when he got out, we'd meet and go. We were laying sod, cutting grass, doing all kinds of odds and end jobs, and then just never said no. Anything we got asked to do, if I didn't know how to do it, I was on YouTube. That's the only way you're going to make it in this world. And started renting skid steers, figured out how to run a skid steer. So was taking on those kind of jobs, and then graduated high school. And at that point realized, I was busy working 6-7 days a week. I didn't have time to be a firefighter. I'm making more money then than I would be a firefighter. So we just kept growing the company, and I bought another old truck and a dump trailer, and was blessed enough that a local guy here that was in the industry and sold out, he had an old skid steer left over, and owner financed it to me, and that's how I got my first skid steer, and we ran that and saved up some money, and then was able to trade that in on a brand new one, and kept growing from there. Was able to then 21 or 22, I bought my first excavator. And the biggest trouble that is dealing with the banks at 20, 21 years old. I mean, they want to laugh at you, and no credit history, no history at all, and trying to finance a $75,000, $150,000 piece of equipment, they laugh. So it's been a struggle up until this day. It's been a struggle being so young in an industry where the people I deal with on a day-to-day basis are twice my age normally. So,
well, ladies and gentlemen, we are dealing with a bona fide hustler.
Yep.
I'm impressed because, again, we would just chit chat at the shows, and so you guys are learning Chase's history in real time along with myself. So I'm impressed. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
27.
You're doing it right, man. And again, it's only 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, I want to come to work for you. I want to come move some equipment, throw some mulch around, just have a good time.
We're hiring.
All right, good. Well, hey, you guys hear that? He's hiring. Obviously, it's not all good times. Me from the outside looking in, I can say that it's just a lot of fun. So, what are some of the struggles that you've seen so far?
You're in this business, in this industry, and especially the more trucks you get, yes, the more money you can make. More equipment you get, yes, the more money you can make. More employees you have, more money you can make. But with every truck, in each additional machine, each additional employee, comes another multiple headaches. So, you know, people from the outside looking in just see a bunch of nice trucks and nice equipment, but it is a constant headache. You know, you're going to have more bad than good. You know, it's constant problems and bad times with short, you know, blast of success is what I like to say. You know,
Okay.
You'll hit a good lick, you'll get a good contract, you can make big money in short times in this business, but then you'll have the bad times, and that money goes fast. When you have, you know, when you're putting $20,000 transmissions in trucks, when you're replacing hydraulic pumps on excavators, you know, when just the cost of doing business here, the way we run right now, you're looking at $120,000 a month in fuel. That's our fuel bill, $120,000 a month.
Wow.
So, you know, it's a big bite to chew, and that's just fuel. You know, you got insurance, you got truck payments, you've got right around $60,000 a week in payroll. I mean, so it's a lot to chew off in this type of business, and the reason we've stayed so busy and grown is the way we have is never saying no and staying diversified. You know, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, because when slow times come, and they will come, they have come. I mean, it was very slow at the end of last year for a lot of people. Even in the state of Florida, we saw a slowdown between the storms that hit, the election, you know, all the unknowns. So you've got to be prepared for that and staying diversified. That's why you'll see our trucks hooked to any kind of trailer. We got low boys, landalls, you know, flatbed step deck, dump trailer, walking floor. You know, I've got my foot in the door in multiple different avenues. When one slows down, we pick up in another. So, you know.
Sounds like a delicate balance.
It is. It's a constant communication. And, you know, and you'll see me, I'm on the phone all day. Constant communication, constant delegating, you know, and constant, you know, keeping the client happy. Because if they're happy, you got a lifelong client.
I hear you. So speaking of that, what is your client or project ratio to employee ratio?
So basically, we have it split up into two different divisions. Recently, in the last year, I've started just a logistics company, which is Rogers Services Incorporated, RSI. We've got one truck in that name that's solely going to be a transportation company to get the liability off of Rogers Landworks, because we have so much trucks and so much liability. Everybody knows insurance is going up. You know, liability is big in this business. So we're taking all of our trucking and separating it from the land clearing and site company. Will be in just a trucking company. But you know, we run 2 to 3 low boys a day moving equipment. You know, one low boy basically stays busy moving our equipment, but we have 2 low boys stay busy working for power companies, working for different equipment dealerships, working for different site companies, moving their equipment. We've got a landall that stays busy moving containers, moving paving equipment, hydraulic tail. We got flatbed step deck. We haul sod for certain customers. We haul crane parts for certain customers. We will haul anything to keep that truck busy.
That is cool. Now, these trucks that are coming in, these weren't parked on the property. Were they parked somewhere else?
No, so these guys, some of the mills they run 24 hours a day. So to beat the traffic in Jacksonville, these guys, they'll start their day around 2 to 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
So, and they'll run till, you know, 2:30 in the afternoon. You can only get 2 loads a day up to Fernandina with the traffic. It's about 5 hours for a round trip between loading and unloading. So they start at 2:30. That way, right now in rush hour, they're here getting loaded again. So by the time they get back up to Jacksonville, they're rolling right through.
That makes sense, and it's more efficient and less of a headache as well.
Yep.
So you mentioned the camera's running. You mentioned constant communication earlier. You got a scratch book there, or let me rephrase. You got a notepad there, but I didn't see any secretaries or any fancy computer systems in the office and things. How do you keep things straight?
This is the Bible. This and this cell phone.
Yeah.
We got Billy. He kind of runs day-to-day operations in the office and taking the calls, and then we've got people that do AP and AR and Candace that does all HR and handle a lot of those paperwork side of things and billing as well. But yeah, I do everything. I've got a computer that I use very rarely because I'm always on the go. It's just this book. I put everything I need to do in this book and this phone. And I'm constant. We've got a guy that runs our field operations for all of our site side, and I'm in constant communication with him. But at this point right now, I still dispatch the majority of the trucks on a day-to-day basis and book their loads, communicate with the client, communicate with the driver, surveying our GPS system, seeing where everybody's at, trying to catch another load coming back, or just it all changes by the minute. But
wow, well, that's awesome.
I'm a paper and pencil kind of guy. I like to write down and to look at it. The phone thing, I just can't. People say, "Oh, why don't you use notes or use this app, use that app?" I have to have it on paper. Yeah. So hopefully, I don't ever lose this book.
Yeah, right. So Chase, you mentioned that we're headed over to a job to look at something. What are we going to do?
We're just going to take a look at some selective tree removal on a new right of way for a new road project that they call them dirt to pave. So they're taking existing dirt roads here in Flagler County and redoing the drainage, redoing the ditches, and then preparing them with base, and they're paving them. With all the growth in Flagler County. A lot of these major main dirt roads are now have so much traffic that they're getting the funding in to pave them.
Okay, which that brings me to the question that I wanted to ask you. Where did you grow up?
So I was born and raised in Ormond Beach, Florida, about 15 minutes just south of here. Went to school there in elementary school, middle school, and then moved up to North Volusia and ended up going to high school, graduate high school at Flagler Palm Coast High School.
So you've seen the steady growth of this area,
yes.
Obviously.
Yeah. This area, at one time, Palm Coast in Flagler County was like the 5th fastest growing county in the United States. Mm-hmm. And now I think the Daytona Beach area, that I-95 corridor, is in the top 10 fastest growing areas in the United States. And it's going to be a booming area in all the suburbs around, just because you've got Jacksonville as a main hub, you've got Orlando as a main hub, but you've got really nothing in between. The perfect in between is Daytona Beach. You've got I-4 and 95 that meet, and it's an hour each way. You're an hour to Jacksonville, you're an hour to Orlando. So it's a booming area with industry and with housing, of course, infrastructure projects.
Infrastructure, you said. Well, it seems like your business is poised and in the right position to take in a lot of the work as well.
Correct. I've kind of tried to get ahead of the boom, and I'm blessed to have the piece of property right there off US 1 that's permitted and ready to go as that kind of facility. And then we're in a perfect spot. We're right there on the Volusia-Flagler line. We basically cover all Volusia, all Flagler, into St. John's, into Brevard, into Lake and Putnam counties. But we stay so busy in this area, we don't need to go elsewhere. For certain clients and certain customers, we will, take our grinding and clearing operations, 2 hours away. But it's very rare because of the amount of workload in this area and the amount of different clients that we serve here.
Well, that's great. So how far out do you go from home base?
We've done our trucking side of things. We run all over the Southeast. I've got a truck in Naples today. I've got a truck going down to Arcadia. They got trucks in Jacksonville, trucks up and down the East Coast. We'll run into Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina with our low boys and stuff. On our equipment side of things, our clearing side of things and grinding, we've got our furthest job to the south right now is going on in DeLand, and then the furthest job to the north, we've got a grinding site up in Middleburg going on right now. We've got a large apartment complex up in St. Augustine just getting started, some subdivisions in Daytona Beach getting started, some right-of-way jobs going on. So we're basically between Volusia and Clay County, Duval County.
Okay. And so this road is going to be paved?
Yes. So basically, a few months ago, we come in here and cleared the sides of this road where they expanded these ditches, come through and removed all the trees and did all the haul off. And then they're basically finishing up. The drainage is done. Lime rock's down. They're going to be paving here soon. but they've got some other selective trees that the county's wanted to have removed since the new drainage and new culverts and pipes gone in.
Okay.
You know, you can read plans and a job looks good on paper, but you come out here to existing conditions and you know, the paper just doesn't add up with what has to be done on a job, you know. And this end wall and culvert was all installed, and these trees were slated to stay, but now, you know, you come out here and look, since they had to disturb the root system, you know, this group of trees has to come out.
Okay. So looking at this, what's going through your mind right now? Walk us through what that process is.
I mean, on stuff like this, you got to watch out because you've got new infrastructure we can't damage. We've got a very recent bridge that was put in that can't be damaged. You know, we've got this waterway we can't impact. So we've got, you know, overhead utility lines to look out for. So just several things, you know, that comes into taking these selective trees down. But we would just bring an excavator in here. We'll reach across and pull these over safely, process them, pull the stumps, and you know, load them up, be on our way.
Okay. So what is this time-wise? What type of job is it?
We'll have more time in moving equipment here and hauling the debris, and you know, we'll have these trees down in 25-30 minutes and processed up and in a truck.
All right.
We basically do every major civil contractor and heavy highway builder in this area. We do all their land clearing because majority of these clients, they do not do their own land clearing in-house just because it's a very specialized industry. You know, the days of going to a job and piling up the trees and burning them are over, you know, with all the the building and the development, you know, it's very hard to burn a job. So you have to have the grinder, you have to have the ability to haul off the mulch, you have to have the specialized equipment, the loaders, the dozers with rakes, the excavators with rakes, specialized equipment to process the trees, the shears to process the trees. And there's a lot of specialized equipment that comes with just land clearing. You know, land clearing is a very broad statement, but it's very high risk, high liability. It's very expensive to do it, you know, and to do it right. So we kind of specialize in that.
So you mentioned high risk. What are some of those risks?
We constantly find ourselves working around power lines and overhead utilities, underground utilities, houses, you know, property lines, fences. You know, all that's high liability. If something gets damaged, it's a high cost, as well as removing large trees. You know, or our operators are in the safety of that cab, but if something goes wrong, it can go south. Mm-hmm. So it's, you know, very high risk there, and working around those 1,000+ horsepower wood grinders. It's very dangerous. This is pulling up one of our projects here in DeLand that is roads being widened and cleared for a roadway extension and a new roundabout as well.
Okay. Also, what we were talking off camera, and you mentioned about being first on site, and you mentioned being labeled as the bad guy sometimes.
Yes,
you know?
we're the guy, you know, when the land's been vacant for 30+ years. That's all they've ever known is to be lit next to an empty lot or empty property. And we come in there and we're the first ones on the scene. You know, we go to removing the trees and clearing the silt fence line and just, you know, making a change happen in a snap of a finger. You know, we go from a wooded area to nothing, bare dirt, and ready for building, ready for construction.
So what are some of the things that you have to deal with some homeowners that are not aware?
You know, we get pushbacks. Oh, you know, that's a reserve, that's a private area, you can't build there. It's been that way for 30 years. And unfortunately, it has been that way for 30 years. And you've had 30 years to purchase that property yourself and keep it that way. But, you know, that's part of property rights. And I tell people all the time, they want to buy a house, they want to buy property. You need to do your research on what's around you. Because just because it's labeled as a reserve this year, with the, you know, all it takes is money, and you can have, you know, wetlands mitigated. Reserves can be turned into different, you know, zoning rights and different, you know, it could be zoned for single family or ag, and that zoning can change with a simple zoning change. So you've got to do your research.
That is true, and purchase it before it does change into something else.
Yep.
All right, so what are we looking at here?
So this has all been cleared. This is a right of way for this road back there. It's going to extend right on through to the east. So right now we're on like a major utility right-of-way, and then that's going to be the roadway over there.
Okay.
And we've done all the clearing and grubbing, and we're wrapping this project up on this east end. We've got 3 two-wheel loaders with rakes and a rake tractor down here. We're just finishing up raking. And you can see the process is how we clean up the ground, get all the root raking
Some
done.
nice little windrows right there.
Yep. Our guys are we try to be, we got a high quality of work, and we have a reputation that follows that. And so we've kind of set the standard. But you can see the windrows that we create and let the sun beat down on them.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and knock the windrows and keep rolling the windrows to roll the dirt right out. And then we'll pick up the debris and bring it down here where we're going to grind.
So that way you're not hauling away tonnage of sand.
Correct. We don't get paid for dirt. We can't sell clean mulch if it's got dirt in it. As well, that adds a lot of weight to our trucks.
Looking at all these machines and operators, of course, because they're just not machines, obviously. So I was joking earlier, and you said that you guys are hiring. What are you guys looking for in terms of operators?
In operators right now, we're looking for a loader operator for our yard, our facility. We're looking for experienced land clearing operators for an excavator or for a dozer with a rake. And that being said, they've got to have experience, in those tight, close quarters, tree removal and working around power lines, working around houses, working in tight situations. We're a drug-free workplace. We have safety programs, so you have to be able to pass a background check, drug tests. You have to be able to deal with, working on airports and working at schools and working in different safety and regulations that are going to be more, more regulation than your normal job site.
Mm-hmm. Sorry to interrupt for a second. That's a sexy-looking dozer over there.
Yeah, you may remember that from a few years ago, Chris, at the 75 Chrome Shop truck show.
Yeah, I thought that was the one. Very cool. All right, so going back to the employment process, it makes perfect sense. I'd imagine you're looking for more than just one employee.
Correct. Yeah, we're looking for qualified help. We don't like to fill seats. To us, that just creates more problems. With that being said, we don't mind training people that want to learn,
Yeah.
But they've got to want to learn. They got to have the want. We can bring you to wherever you want to be, but you've got to have the want to learn, the want to listen, and you can, the options are endless. Mm-hmm. So that right there is a Volvo 300 with a wood shear. So any of the oversized stumps and oak stumps, we bring that in to split them, process them smaller before they go into a grinder.
So from start to finish, how long did this project take?
So this project, Tuesday of this week was our 3rd week here from initially breaking ground. So in this job, it went real smooth. It's a sandy environment. Makes it a lot easier on our guys cleaning up and raking. We don't have to deal with the mud. So we should be done here. The grinder's gonna be coming in tomorrow. They'll be done raking today. We got a couple days of grinding and a couple days of hauling. So it's about a month-long project. What this took from start to finish.
Seems pretty quick, or efficiently.
It is. We try and, we're a production-based company. So, clearing land per acre is all production-based. So, we need to do it as quickly, as efficiently as possible, and also leaving the highest quality of work.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The guys are doing a great job. But my question is, how fine do you want the soil to be when they're raking through?
It's easy to go in there and blow through it, take down the trees, and you can hurry up and yank everything out, and you really can make a mess, So the finished product is what it's all about. If you're, leave a quality finish in land clearing, and that's got to do with the raking, So we want to get, basically the size of our fist, size of our arm, that size stuff, we want to get it up. You're going to have finger roots. It's going to be impossible to get everything out of the ground, but we want to get, 85 to 95% of the organics out of the ground, raked up, free of dirt. You know, and then the contractor, they come behind us and they'll strip the topsoil and strip whatever's left off to the side, use it in the pond slopes, use it in the common areas, things like that. But we want to, you know, we have a pretty high standard. We want to leave a good quality finish, and we don't want to leave stumps. We don't want to leave big palmetto roots and stuff in the ground.
Chase, where are we and what are we looking at?
We're up here off State Road 16 in St. Augustine, Florida, and we're here at a site. It's going to be a new multifamily home site. We're doing our clearing and grubbing around the silt fence line, getting the perimeter set before we go do mass clearing. So we're all the logging's been done, the timber harvesting's been done, and we're basically going in and starting our process, which is finding the perimeter and stumping and raking the perimeter so silt fence can be installed.
All right, cool. Well, let's get the flying camera in the air and take a better look at what's going on here. So is there any particular technique that the operators use when they're pulling down big trees?
It just all depends on the position. You know, right here it's right on the line, so, you know, we don't have the option to push the tree. It has to be pulled towards the machine, but this caliber size machine and the operator's ability, we pull the trees and he'll pull it and turn at the same time and guide it right down. But it's actually safer to pull a tree because you have constant contact with the tree, and you can guide it down much easier.
Okay.
Versus pushing it, you lose control.
Easy enough.
Having that's about an 85,000 pound machine. I like to think it's one of the largest clearing excavators in this part of Florida. Makes pulling those size trees and stumps it's a breeze.
Well, why did you go with that brand?
We've been real happy with the Volvo product. We run all Volvo products, their excavators and loaders. Starting this business off young, it was hard to find these big dealerships that wanted to deal with a 20-some-year-old kid at the time. And Alta, who is Volvo's dealer, Alta Equipment Company, they've had my back since day one with any purchase that I've made, and we're real happy with the product. We think it's superior to any other yellow iron product on the market. The excavators are smooth, they have great controls, great operator comfort. Same thing with the wheel loaders. They've been fantastic.
Yeah. I've operated a fair amount of Volvo machines as well, and again, the ergonomics are great. The power delivery is great.
Yep.
And like you mentioned, the comfort is there too.
Yep.
Tell me about the thumb that you guys are using, or the rake and thumb.
So that's a Pemberton brand. They're based out of Longwood, Florida, right over towards Sanford. All of our rake attachments, our shear attachments, grapples, all of our attachments are Pemberton brand. They've been great to us. We're loyal to them, and they're loyal to us. They stand behind our product 110%. And out here, this is a rough application, so it's got to be a pretty beefy thumb and a rake for that size machine.
Okay.
And they do a great job for us. And I'm all about loyalty. Loyalty in this generation seems to be far and few between anymore. But we're loyal to people that are loyal to us, and we believe in representing a brand that represents us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the brands we represent, we believe highly in.
So what type of lifetime do you get out of that sort of attachment?
Constant hard facing will increase that lifetime. Obviously dirt, sand on metal is like sandpaper. It wears it down. But we try to run them things through our shop at least 6 months, or 6 months to 12 months at a time. Once every 6 to 12 months to hard face the metal, hard face the ends of that rake, the tines of that rake, to keep the lifespan, because as you go digging in the ground constantly every day, the tines will shorten up. And then also constant greasing, everyday maintenance of that machine, so where all those bushings don't wear out prematurely is very important as well.
Okay. So for those that don't know, explain what hard facing is.
So hard facing is basically welding beads of a weld with a welder onto metal, basically building up a flat surface. So instead of wearing out the actual steel, you're just wearing out the beads of weld. And when those beads of weld wear down, you're back into the original metal surface, you rebuild the welds again. So basically it extends the lifetime of the rake and the metal.
Okay. So it looks like right now we're at the edge of the, I guess, the clearing line. Nothing but easy work from here on out, or what?
Correct. Yeah, he's going to go from here and he'll carry right on down here to the east and keep on going.
All right. Speaking of to the east, let's swing around and have a look at what you guys have done so far. So you're looking over my shoulder. What are we looking at here?
So you can see the project. You know, it's all been timbered. The only thing left is stumps and underbrush. And you can kind of see the line he's creating, you know, going around the saved tree area. And then we've got another excavator working, coming the opposite direction, where they'll end up meeting in the middle, that's doing the other side of the silt fence line.
Okay. I think I see him there in the distance. Let's see if we can go over and have a look at him. There he is. So, is this the same machine? Same type of machine?
Yeah, it's a Volvo 350 size excavator with a thumb and a bucket.
Okay.
And he's doing the same thing. He's clearing silt fence line, getting the perimeter intact, and where silt fence crew can come in and install silt fence.
All right. Now on this machine, why do you run a bucket and a thumb as opposed to the rake and the thumb?
We use this machine for some demolition purposes and some digging purposes as well. Very soon that machine will have a rake on it, but it's just one of those things where it's nice to have some equipment with some rakes and equipment with some buckets. It just changes it up.
Okay. So now we got our flying camera. We got the camera faced toward the west. So how much more work you guys have to do here time-wise?
So basically the way they're operating right now, I'd say they'll be meeting at some point today on the silt fence line to finish the perimeter. And once the perimeter's set, we can then go up front and start mass clearing. Well, we'll just be taking rows and set up the job kind of like a graph, and we'll be just going from block to block, back and forth, stumping and grubbing. And then our crews that you've seen earlier, the raking crew, will come in and we'll clean the job up, rake and move everything and get it ready for the grinding crew.
Oh, that's pretty cool. How long did it take for you guys to develop a system like this where everything works smoothly in terms of...
It's really taken the last 3 years, you know, to really kind of sharpen our pencil and really get into a process that works, you know. And all these jobs, every one of them's different, but in the same sense, every one of them are the same because we're doing the same kind of process. So you're going to have differences at every job, but you know the same kind of process works. You may have to fine tune it a little bit on every job, but the basics are there.
Cool. All right. Well, that kind of answers what's going on here. What else you got going on?
Answering the phone all day long, dealing with problems.
Right on. All right. Well, let's land this flying camera and move on.
Sounds good.
So we're cruising back south, and we stopped for some lunch, and you were mentioning about financing and your use of financing smartly. So how did you phrase that?
So, you know, a lot of people have the mindset of wanting to pay cash for everything and owning everything outright, and I've got the title to it, and that's a great mindset, but you're kind of capped at how fast you can grow a company if you're not using other people's money. So the hardest thing that I had starting this company young and still being young is getting good financing rates, but getting financing at all. You know, back in when I was 21 and 22 years old, the bank would laugh at me, you know, because of my age and because of my history. There was no history there, no credit. So credit and payment history is so important if you want to grow a business and level it and grow it fast. You know, now we're at the point where any size excavator, you know, that Volvo, that 400, y'all were just looking at $400,000 machine is 0% financing. So why would I pay cash for that when I can keep the money in my pocket for a rainy day and we can use the bank's money, you know? And we finance that on a shorter term. All of our finances are between 36 and 48 months. That way we have equity in the equipment. So, you know, you're not doing a 72-month finance and you're upside down. Everything has to be short term within the limits of the warranty. That way you don't want your warranty to expire before the equipment is paid off. Now you're making a payment and you're paying to fix a problem. So you have to time your warranties with the term of your loan, term of your finance, and it's a win-win situation. That way you have equity in the machine in the first 12 months of making payments. You've always got warranty, and then the machine's paid off. It's still usable. It's not worn out. you know, and then you can make a decision on if you're going to keep it and keep running it with no cost, no payments, and just you're paying to fix it if you have a problem, or you turn around and trade it in. So using other people's money, using the bank's money is a big deal, but you have to do it right, and you have to have good payment history, because, you know, we're blessed to be at the point now where we can walk into, you know, Volvo and walk into Ford and walk into the Western Star, and we just get whatever we want whenever we want it, because they know that they're going to get paid because of our payment history. So
that's great. Now, another thing that you mentioned, we were, you know, sitting there talking, and we were talking about our toys and things like that. And so you had some feelings about toys and, you know, side-by-sides or boats and things of that nature. So what's your message to some of the young guys?
Here's my philosophy on that if you cannot finance toys, okay? So everything that I have that I make a monthly payment on, it's got to make that monthly payment. It pays for itself. It's out there working every day. If I cannot pay cash for it and it's just going to sit there and be a toy, I don't need it. I don't need a boat that I need a big monthly payment on. I don't need a side-by-side that I need a big monthly payment on. I don't need a mud truck or any kind of toy, motorcycle. If you have to finance a toy just to fit in with the status quo, that is the wrong way of doing this business. You need to reinvest that money back into your company to grow it exponentially. So, you know, you do not finance toys. Everything you finance has to make that payment, has to have cash flow coming in, you know, and why finance these toys or finance a boat when go finance something they don't make any more of, you know, and that's land. They don't make any more land in Florida, okay? And Florida, everybody knows, is booming. It's going to continue to boom. So the price you pay for that land now, it's never going to decrease in value. Land is only going to continue to go up in price and up in value. So you need to put money towards land because they don't make any more of it. That's one of the few things in this world that they don't make any more of, and that's land.
You're not wrong, sir. You're absolutely not wrong. So Chase, we pulled back into your driveway and we're headed in, and you hopped out and checked the mail. So what were you saying there about one of the highlights of the day?
I said that, you know, it's unfortunate it's gotten to be this way, but my most exciting part of the day is going to check the mail to check and see who has maybe finally paid their bill.
Yeah.
And it is just such a it's gotten to the point where it's easy for us to do the work. You know, we've got processes and policies in place. We've got the right equipment, we've got the right trucks, we've got the right employees, but, you know, we can do the work with our eyes closed in the dark, but getting paid sometimes from contractors can be a real nightmare, you know, and then on these government funded jobs and state jobs, you know, it's a 10% retainage is an industry standard. So we'll wait on 10% of our money for 2 to 3 years sometimes, depending on the situation, you know, or with all the FEMA storm work, you know, we'll wait on 10% of our money for years to come sometimes. So it's a fight, and in our position, we're playing the bank all the time, you know, and that's another thing that a lot of the general public doesn't understand is carrying the costs of this company, you know, waiting on 10% of your money. I mean, 10%'s profit margins on a lot of different things here. So, you know, we're just carrying the cost of the company until we get that large check, you know, and that's unfortunate, but that's the reality of the situation in this industry.
Right. So we can't think that you buy a truck, buy some equipment, and you're making all this money hand over fist. It's held up.
Yeah, it's held up, always held up, especially as you work more and more into the commercial things. Yes, the profit margins are higher in the state work and the government work and the government funded work, but then again, you're there playing the bank and waiting on your money longer and longer and longer.
Whose truck and machine is that?
That's an old white constructor. Long story short, a guy actually that works here, we traded some work and he had that sitting in his yard. It's an old log loader that they used back loading stumps back in the day here in Florida. And it's like a 70s, I forget what year, white constructor with a Prentice log loader.
Okay,
and
that's your next show truck.
Yeah, we parked it there for a yard ornament, and thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. So Chase, tell me about these Western Stars here.
So these are 2018 model Western Star 4900s, set forward front axles.
They're all spec'd similar. DD16 Detroit power, 13 speed, Eaton transmissions, 46,000 pound rears, all double framed, heavy spec fifth wheels, all dual line wet lines, all kind of to the highest trim level, you know, Western Star cells, all got button tuck interior and heated seats and all that. And it's just an east smooth side refuse style walking floor trailer.
How many yards?
That measures out to be about 135 yards on that particular trailer. It's the biggest one we've got.
So how have these Western Stars been treating you?
They've been fantastic trucks. We started out 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years ago in May. We bought a pair of these trucks, and same spec trucks, and now we're up to 8 Western Stars, and currently in the process of buying our 9th Western Star. All spec'd out the same, all heavy rears, full locking rears, Detroit motors. These trucks have the DD16s. We've got some 4700s with the DD13. All Eaton transmissions. These have a 13 speed. We've got some triaxles with 18 speed. We've got the smaller, lighter duty trucks with a 10 speed. But they have been fantastic trucks. The driver comfort is great. You know, the interiors are a high level of class. I mean, it's just as well as you're going to get with a Peterbilt. You know, these are 2018 models. You know, they've got 300,000-400,000 miles, but you know, they got the button tuck interior. They've got heated seats. They've got all the Detroit Command technology. They're fantastic trucks. They do not get stuck off-road.
And that's what you need to. Based on what we saw today, you guys are on-road, off-road, and these things will take the abuse. Yeah, not that you're abusing them, but they'll take the punishment of where you put them.
We're constantly, you know, and we try to, you know, we got guys that wash these trucks weekly, and they just get dirty in the snap of a finger, you know. So it's real tough to keep a clean truck. We try to do the best that we can do. But these Western Stars are just, there have been no problems. They're reliable. They don't leave us on the side of the road. They don't get stuck. The power is there. The fuel mileage is fantastic. And, you know, they look good. They still got the old heritage styling.
Yeah. And again, people can't say that, oh, but it's a Western Star, you don't like Peterbilt, because you have a Peterbilt in your fleet. We've seen it. And again, still have, you know, Macks in your fleet as well.
I think, you know, Peterbilt, they make a great truck, but this Western Star is a great truck. But one thing you cannot get in any PACCAR product, you cannot get a Detroit. And in my opinion, and I've talked to a lot of other people in this industry, is Detroit's got the best power on the market right now. You know, you may not have as much horsepower as an X15, but you've got the longevity, you've got the reliability. You know, that motor is going to last 2-3 times as long on one motor versus an X15. You know, these guys are doing in-frames at 350,000 miles. You know, these Detroits 500,000-600,000 miles are still rolling steady. You know, for a new model motor, that's unheard of to make 1 million miles without an in-frame. You know, we're back in the old days of the 60 series, you know, getting millions of miles out of motors.
Yeah.
So Detroit's got these new motors figured out.
That's cool. So Chase, we're back at the yard here. Explain to us what we're looking at.
So this is where all the raw material comes in from either, you know, our customers, tree companies, private citizens. Our trucks bring in, you know, mixed loads of tree debris, wood waste, organic debris, and it gets dumped out here where we'll start going through and separating it. We separate the hardwoods from some of the mid-grade woods, the dirtier products, the palmettos, palm fronds. We separate that from the palm trees, and everything goes to different spots. So right now we're grinding what we call, you know, mid-grade, which is, you know, a mixture of palmetto and underbrush and limbs and smaller wood waste that then gets trucked back out and gets turned into power.
All right, so looking at the screen, we got the camera, the flying camera in the air again. What size excavator is that, and what is he doing?
That one's a 145 with a rake. That's a spare machine. Normally he's in something else. We have a machine down, but he's basically separating the loads as they come in, you know, taking all the fluffy brush, putting it right there where the guy grinding can get to it. All that's pretty clean wood, so there's not much to do there. If it had palmettos or if it had stumps or large trees, he would then throw that off to the side. The guy with the loader would pick it up and move it to its designated location.
And so, go ahead.
And then we got the Volvo 220 with the waste grapple. He's loading the grinder, keeping it fed, and it's shooting the mulch up to our stockpile of mulch, where we're then throwing the mulch up, and then it's also, he's sitting on a landing where he can have our walking floors back up, and we load the walking floors throughout the day to send the mulch back out. So just as fast as it comes in, it gets dumped out, it gets processed, and it goes back out.
Okay. So we have yet to see some of the larger walking floor trailers come in. We saw them earlier this morning, but do you expect some of those guys to come back in and get loaded?
Yeah, they'll be coming to get loaded shortly, and they run a funny schedule. You know, they start at 2, 3 in the morning, and they wrap up by 2 or 3 in the afternoon to beat the traffic up in Jacksonville during rush hour.
Okay. Explain what we have in that pile there to the left.
So basically, that's our palm tree pile. We separate all of our palm trees because they're very hard to deal with. They're very fibrous, they're very hard to grind, and they're very hard to sell that palm mulch, the material the grinder makes. So we slowly have to mix those in as we can with the proper amount of wood to palm ratio.
Okay. And what is this pile that we're looking at here?
And then this is basically all the dirty material. So that pile is basically 80% dirt and 20% organics. Okay. And all the load, you know, you get some last loads on these land clearing jobs or strippings, dirt, sod mixed. We take it over here and it goes through that Finley, that's a deck screen. So then we screen out all the organics and we make topsoil.
There's just piles of money sitting around here, basically.
Yep. There is.
Awesome.
It's all money. It's just a process of processing it, letting it sit, and then shipping it back out.
Right on. All right, cool. So over on the south side of the yard, what sort of material is it?
So that's our hardwood mulch blend. That's what we separate out. We shear up all the pine stumps, hardwood stumps, pine logs, any clean hardwood or wood product, and we grind that up to a finished grind, and then it gets sold to all the mulch manufacturers. They take it, they color it, they bag it, and it gets out to Home Depot, Lowe's, any of your hardware stores that sell a bagged mulch product.
Let's go over and check out that Mack that you had at the 75 Chrome Shop, because we've not talked about that on camera. I've seen it there at the 75 Chrome Shop truck show.
That sounds good.
It's done up right, so let's have it. You got it hiding around here somewhere,
It's hiding around here somewhere.
All right.
Trying to keep the dust off of it.
All right, cool.
Let's go take a look.
All right. Well, Chase, this is one great looking Superliner. Tell us all about it.
This is a 1989 Mack Superliner. It's got a 350 Mack motor, 9-speed transmission. I've had it now going on 4 years. I bought it from a guy local in DeLand, who bought it from a guy local out in Lake County, and it sat in a barn for a while. And then the guy I bought it from hauled sod with it and didn't use it much, and it of course did not look like this at all at that time. It was green, but it was algae green. So we brought it back, and it's slowly been a work in progress. We've had a driver in it for about 1.5 years. I had somebody running it, pulling dump trailer, and we finally was able to buy another truck and have enough trucks where I could take this off the road and restore it to as the look it is today. So we've kind of, you know, not so much frame off, but we took all the exterior pieces off and, you know, put dual stacks on it, had it painted, frame's been painted, the engine, transmission's been painted, the truck's been painted with the stripes, replaced the tanks, everything on the outside of the truck's been replaced. So all the steps, the tanks, the fenders, the wheels, all the cab lights, the bracket tree for all that, deck plate, all that's been replaced, fifth wheel was replaced, frame was cleaned up and painted, all the paint on the cab and all that's been done, and the mirrors are new, the fender mirrors are new. So basically it's you know, on the outside it's a pretty new truck.
You've brought it back to life.
We've tried, and it pulled the empty Trail King Landau sliding axle trailer to the show last year, and that's the only trailer it's pulled since we took it off the road. And it probably leaves this barn 5 times a year. We'll take it down to the Turkey Rod Run in Daytona and around Thanksgiving, and we'll take it to some other little shows and the Chrome Shop show, but other than that, it finds its home right here, protected in the barn and covered in dust.
A protective layer of dust.
Yes. Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. Why Mack?
I've always been a Mack fan. You know, it's you know, the old saying, you can't beat a Mack truck. You know, the toughest trucks on the road, and that was true in the year '89 and up until recently. You know, they have been the best trucks on the road. But you know, just like with anything, with the new regulation and the new standards, you know, Mack's had trouble with the new trucks just like everybody else has. But back in the day, Mack was, you know, the best truck on the road, and a lot of people will tell you that a Mack Superliner is like the, you know, Ford GT of the hot rod industry. You know, it's a rare truck. You know, this is a rare truck.
Yeah.
You know, there's not many. I mean, in Florida that I know of, there's maybe 5 or 6 that I know of. You know, 3 or 4 being in real good shape.
Yeah.
So there's not many in Florida at all.
Can we look inside?
Yeah. Yeah, the inside is the way I found it, other than cleaned up. We have not made it to the inside yet. It is metal on the floor and the same seat, and the headliner needs replaced, but that's on the schedule for this year. But it all comes with having the time to do things. But that's the way it looked back in 1989.
Yes, sir.
And they say, you know, it takes a man to drive a Mack. It does. You're worn out when you get done shifting that thing all day.
Let me tell you what, the first time I drove a Superliner, I felt like I was flying a jet. You
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
tell me nothing.
Oh yeah.
I was it, you know.
You know, it's
running down the
crazy.
road.
It's, you know, it's you know, 30-some-year-old truck, and you shut these doors, and they're still, you know, airtight, and sounds like you're closing a brand new truck door.
Very nice. Any other plans with it? Or for it?
The interior I want to do in like a King Ranch leather. So I do want to strip the interior and do it like a King Ranch, you know, Western leather with some button tuck and leather seats, stuff like that. That was our goal. And then this is not the proper bumper for the truck. So the front bumper needs to be replaced, and it's got a filler plate. It comes in and covers this gap. This is like the constructor model, you know, it's got a little bit of extended bumper. Other than that, that's it. I've got some old school lights I need to put on it, some old school you know, for oversized loads, you know, amber revolving lights that are LED. So it's kind of done it. We've done a new school look with LED, but old school way. It's got the old slow revolving lights, but they're actually LED. So we were going to build a light rack to go on between the exhaust supports and put those on there. And then the only other thing is it's a short truck. I would like to add, you know, a couple feet to the frame, but you know, that's down the road.
Okay. And over your shoulder, that vehicle is a vehicle you're just telling me about, and it was a vehicle that you were mentioning earlier this morning.
Yes, so that's a 97 F250, and that is what started it all. 7.3 Power Stroke. That's the truck that started this whole operation back in the day, hauling scrap metal and pulling a lawn trailer, and through high school and my early years, and that's what I drove every day.
And this is the one that you drove to school with the trailer and everything.
This is the one that you got the parking tickets and went to school with every day. And I always said that I would never sell my first truck, and I'll keep that till the day that I'm not here anymore. But in one of these days, I would like to restore it back to what it would look like in '97. You know, two-tone green and white paint job, and a little bit of a lift, and some wide aluminum wheels, and kind of match the Superliner. That was my thoughts. So that'll be coming one of these years when time allows it.
There you go. Well, sounds like a good plan.
Yep. But it sits right here, covered in dust.
Protected.
Yep.
So
Go ahead.
what's going on here?
So Candace is loading up some hay. That's my fiance. She sells about a trailer load of hay every 10 days to 14 days.
Okay.
39 bundles, 40 bundles, which is equivalent to about 900 bales of hay.
Okay.
Comes through here, and she basically brokers it out. So it'll get drop shipped here, and then she reloads it and does some deliveries, and people come pick up, and we'll load their trailer as well. So that's strictly her business, and she handles it all.
That's awesome. So you can't be around here and not be industrious. Is that what I'm thinking?
That's true. That's true. Is that right, babe? You can't. You gotta be a hustler around here.
It's full circle.
Yeah, that's
it is,
cool.
for sure. So just today, this is 104, and I did 180 on Tuesday.
So you are, the biceps are growing. All right.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, let's not stop you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
What are we getting into there, Mr. Chase?
We've got a Western Star coming in right now with the brand new Volvo 200 excavator heading to the barn.
All right. And you're operating as a chase vehicle, so let's get some rollers going here. Speed right there. It's good. So this is the new 49X. How do you like it?
It's been a great truck, great power, great driver comfort. It's like driving a car. It's got a DD16 Detroit and an 18-speed Eaton, tri-axle, heavy spec.
So you said you like the 49X, and it looks like you got yourself a black sheep of a family. All the other trucks are white. In the old Western Star, that one, the 49X, is black in color. So you're going to keep it black, or are you going to make it company colors, or what?
Yeah, I was looking for a new Western Star, and they're hard to find. You got to order them, especially heavy spec tri-axle with a flat top 36-inch sleeper. And I found that truck out in Texas, was spec'd out just like that, and it was black, and I'm a white truck kind of guy, but I like black trucks, and white and green goes good together, and I thought, black and green may go good together, and that truck actually represents it's got a different company name on the door. That's our logistics company, so we said we're gonna give the black truck a shot. So
okay.
It's good. It's a black truck matching black trailer, and with some green accents, and
okay.
It's been a hit. So there may be some black Western Stars in the future.
All right, so maybe RSI is gonna carry that black and green theme.
That's how we can differentiate the trucks from Rogers Landworks.
All right. Well, that's going to bring filming for day one to a close. I'm going to hang out over here a little bit longer, if you don't mind, sir.
That sounds good.
And we'll see what we can get into tomorrow. Well, we're back at it. It's Friday morning back here at Rogers Landworks. And the crew is busy getting things sorted out. The guys have left because it's 7 o'clock, so most of the guys have left already. And Chase is busy doing some stuff already. He's got the Volvo that we saw yesterday detached. Let's see if we can find out where he is. Oh, there he is over there. Busy as always. He said this machine was brand new, like new. Gotta love looking at a new piece of equipment. It's got no scratches on it, no blemishes. Well, while you're sitting up there, sir, I'm gonna hand you this.
Good.
And tell us what we're gonna get into today while you walk this thing off.
We're gonna unload this and reload a 220 excavator with the grapple. Take it down to a site in DeLand, and then we'll reload a dozer and move it to a site in Ormond, and then we'll come back here, load up a grinder, and we'll take it back out to DeLand. And we'll have another guys gonna take this machine up to Jacksonville, get a rake and a thumb installed.
So I was looking at this axle setup back here. I was like, man, this tire's a little larger than normal. And I got to the back side of this. And what do we got there? We got us an old steerable axle. It's not common, at least that I've seen. So
Let's see if he's ready to go.
Okay, how common are those steerable axles?
They're becoming more common. That's a big. It's got a 315 on there, so it's 20,000 pound steerable. Mm-hmm. Our other triaxle's got the regular, non-steerable with dual wheels, and obviously it does the same job, but you've got to pull it up on turns, because if not, that truck will keep going straight.
Yes.
But it's real nice because the driver can drop it down and don't have to worry about it. Leave it down until he gets where he's going. So this machine, Chris, it's got almost 11,000 hours. And this was the first Volvo I bought. And actually this one, once we get that brand new one done and fixed up and ready to go, then this one will probably going to phase out, just because it's getting up to that. When you get up around 11, 12,000 hours, you have major engine failure, and we want to ship it out before then.
As you say with a slight smirk.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that loves the sound of grousers first thing in the morning, walking at fast pace? Tell you what, love that sound. Why'd you go with wood over the top of the fenders?
So this particular trailer is a, they call it a Paver special. So it's got the tapered, if you notice, the load angle on the front is real, you could load pavers, you could load low profile equipment very easily. And then it's got the tapered to go up to the back deck. It's a lot, less steep, and then the wood for rollers, paving equipment. You can load anything up there, drive trucks up there. It's a TK 110, so it's still a 55-ton lowboy trailer, but you've got that added versatility. You can load much more stuff that's lowered to the ground, any kind of paver, any kind of paving equipment, traffic rollers, stuff like that, without an issue.
Yeah.
And then you could get, when we're moving stuff for the paving companies, they like to move multi-loads, 2 rollers, a skid steer, sweeper, all that can go on this trailer just like the Landau because of the way the back deck is with the wood.
Yeah, for sure. I remember the days of trying to get machines onto your standard ramp and, with a steel wheel and trying to hit it, a little faster speed, and it's not, sliding off and whatnot.
You could almost drive a car up here, at the right angle.
I like it. We spent the better part of the morning doing a live feed. Some of you may have seen that live feed, but we're back over at the yard now.
Notice, Chris, on these Trail Kings, when you unhook your power there, it's got a battery backup, so all the, we got no power from the truck right now, but all the marker lights flash.
Yeah,
so when
that's
you're
a nice
disconnected.
So yeah, we're back over at the yard, and Chase is going to grab this grinder, the grinder that we saw working yesterday, and we're going to move that onto a job site. Explain to the people what you're doing right now. What are you
Basically,
looking for?
When I load this grinder, it's all remote control, and obviously we want to be even on both sides. So we just take some of the the second deck board in, we line that up with the inside of the track, and we get it on there perfectly straight, level.
What's the weight on this machine?
This machine is right around 87 to 89,000 pounds, depending on the fuel. Just shy of 90,000.
All right. And the excavator that came in yesterday, where does that weigh in?
That weighs in at about 42 to 44,000 pounds.
Okay.
That didn't have any attachments on it. With attachments, it'll probably closer to like 47.
All right.
So right now on 7 axles, we're permitted for like 152.
Okay.
So we'll be close to our permitted weight with this.
All right. Say the ride quality on this truck is really good. Sitting over here in the passenger seat, I was fighting falling asleep over here. It's been really comfortable. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, you would never think we're rolling at about 148,000 pounds right now. I mean, it's really got a good ride, and you can feel the grinder back there, but it's once you get up to speed, it's no different than when you're cruising empty. Yeah. I mean, it just rides really nice, whether you've got 20,000 pounds on or close to 100,000 pounds on.
So here's a question for you. What don't you like?
I don't like that we've got this big, fancy, nice, expensive, spec'd out truck, probably the highest class you could get from Western Star, and they top it off with a horn like this. It needs a set of horns.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Not at all.
All right, that's a pretty minor thing if that's the only thing that bothers you.
That bothers me, and then you got some getting used to. Like I was saying earlier, the engine brake control is where your trolley valve normally would be.
Yeah.
So if you're coming out of an older truck into this truck, you're going to be reaching on the dash for your Jake brake, but it's right here.
Yeah.
But then I'm in different trucks all the time, so I get out of this and I find myself pulling the trolley valve, and then you don't want to do that on the other trucks because what happens there. So it's just getting used to stuff like that, with the times. But overall, no, I mean, it's comfortable, it rides good, it's got good power. This particular truck, being a tri-axle in a short
sleeper, you know, it's got a little bit of length to it, but it's still, we've got really good turning radius. I mean, it turns very nice. You know, even with being a set forward front axle, it turns better than the older 4900 Western Stars, much better.
Yeah, I noticed that this morning when you were backing out with the dozer on, you didn't have any issues, you know, getting backed out and turned around.
No, not at all.
What all controls do you have on there?
So this runs the entire machine. So obviously forward, reverse, and then this button right there lifts up. I mean, you've got two settings. So basically, right now we're doing all the yellow settings. All the controls, engage the clutch, run the belt, all that, does everything.
That's awesome.
So he's sitting in the excavator loading it, he can control everything from the machine, move it around, whatever he needs to do.
Chase, with some of these videos, I try to ask the audience ahead of time what they would like to ask the person that I was going to interview. And there's a couple of questions. The first question is, do you prefer grinding on site or hauling the green waste to a processing yard, and why?
It's always better to grind on site because it's less times we have to touch the material. So, you know, when we haul off whole, we're creating more loads because the material is not size reduced. And then we're loading the truck, going, dumping it out at our site, and then loading it into a grinder and starting that process. Versus when we're at a site, this guy's door open. When we're at a site that has the room and we have enough material to make it feasible for us to move our grinder, shear, move the dedicated equipment to that site to grind on site, it's much more cost effective because we can, you know, we grind the material on site, it goes right into the walking floors and gets sold to the end user, you know, and it doesn't even see our site. So some jobs where it's too tight, or depending on noise restrictions or room, or different situations, it has to be hauled off whole. And obviously there's a price difference for that. You know, there's a whole other trucking aspect in there. We're touching material multiple times. So you know, that's a big deal right there, because when you're grinding up that land clearing debris and hardwood and stumps, you know, it's all size reduction. So, you know, on average, depends on what size screens we're grinding with, but it's a 60 to 75% reduction in size.
Right. What's your advice you would give someone looking to start their own company?
You've got to understand that it's not a rose garden. You know, it's not going to be a rose garden all the time. You're going to have more bad days than good days. It's, you know, depending on the industry or the career that you choose. You know, this particular industry it's high cost, it's high liability, but you know, when you get really good at it, it can have a high return on investment. But it's a guaranteed fact you're going to have more bad than good go on. So you've got to get your mindset right, you know. And there's just some people out there that doesn't have the mindset to keep their head down and keep plugging away. It's not easy at all. And if you want to grow the company, you know, if you don't want to be an owner operator, you want to have employees, you want to have help, you know, it's just a tougher environment. You got to be prepared for it. You know, I make mistakes every day. I continue to own and operate this company. I make mistakes every day. And you've got to be able to own up and admit that you make those mistakes. That's the only way you learn and grow, you know, yourself. So just being prepared that it's not always going to be, you know, a big party and everybody's happy, especially when you have employees. You know, even if it's just 2-3 guys, you have more than 2 people working in one place, you're going to have problems, you're going to have trouble. Yeah. So it's just once you get that mindset that things are going to break, trucks are going to break, equipment's going to break, you know, you're going to have bad weeks. Once you can get over that hurdle, then you're like, okay, you know, I can do this. You know, it's just it's understanding that and being okay with that. It's tough.
Okay. So startup equipment, purchase or rental? And he has a question about insurance.
So you're going to have to get your name out there, and to get, with some of these dealerships and rental companies, you're going to have to build your credit with them, So you're going to need to rent equipment to start. That way, when something breaks, it's on the rental company. They come fix it. You're not responsible. Now, your rental payment on these excavators and loaders and type of equipment is normally going to be higher than a finance payment, okay? But you got to remember also that you're responsible for any damage to that machine or any wear and tear to that machine on the backside. So if you do a couple month rental on an excavator and you blow out the windows, dent up the doors, you're going to be responsible for those costs when you turn it back in. So you need to be prepared for that. And insurance is a big one. This is a high liability business. Not only with the site side of things, the land clearing side of things, but the trucking. It's a very big liability. Transporting equipment's a really big high liability. So you're starting out, you're a brand new company. If you're in the trucking business and you get a DOT number, you're a brand new DOT number. So you're going to pay higher rates, and rates are only going to continue to rise up because of the amount of accidents that happen and people that hire attorneys, and they're suing these insurance companies for these big insurance premiums, because as the company we are with cargo insurance and high insurance rates and high insurance premiums, they know that they can sue us and possibly get millions of dollars. So because we have that high insurance policy that we're regulated to hold. So that's something to think about, that you're going to pay higher rates until it's kind of like building credit. You have to build credit not only with the banks, but you have to build credit with the insurance companies. You have to go time without an accident. You have to have workers' comp claims. You cannot have a bunch of workers' comp claims. Your rates will be sky high. And at the end of the day, all those high rates affect your profit margins and your cash in your pocket at the end of the day. So starting out on the right foot and understanding that it's, you want to keep the claims to a minimum. We get involved in minor accidents, fender benders, people hit us and they have, not very good insurance, and we're better off just paying for a repair out of pocket than running a claim, because we don't want our rates to go up. So it's a hard bite to chew, because you think that you're paying all these high insurance payments, you should just be able to use your insurance anytime. But in the long run, if you can afford to pay for it out of pocket, you're going to be much better off without making a claim and creating your rates to go up for years to come.
Yeah, that's a good viewpoint.
And also, you got to remember, if you do have a claim, and let's say, there's an accident with some physical damage, or, a liability, somebody got injured, those claims are tracked. So just if you go fire up a new company, or, switch insurance companies, they do background checks and check all that. So it won't just go away. Those higher rates are going to follow you until time goes on and those claims fall off.
Okay. How did you learn to operate the different types of equipment that you transport from job site to job site?
The only thing, it's just like driving a car, driving a truck. You can go and they have these heavy equipment schools or simulators, but time in the seat is the only way you get better, And obviously when I was 16, 17 years old, I was figuring out how to run an excavator, and I'm sure I was not good. Same thing with running a dozer, running a loader, running anything. But you just got to put, mind over matter. You got to get in the seat. You got to situate yourself somewhere where you can sit there and run that machine all day and learn, and learn what works for you. Just because the way I run something, the way I load something is probably different than somebody else, but it works for you, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But seat time is the biggest thing, and you got the young guys that want to learn. They have to come in with the mindset of being open to learn. If somebody's giving you the opportunity to run a skid steer, run an excavator, run a loader, or learn, you need to take that opportunity, because those opportunities are getting more far and few between. But that's the only thing, that's the only way you truly learn and can master is seat time, continuous time, running the same piece of equipment.
Okay. Makes sense. Chase, where is this D6 gonna go?
So it's gonna go back to our yard, but then it's gonna get transferred to a job. We had to get the seals on the idlers that adjust the tracks. Had to get those fixed and redone. But normally this would have a big rake on it that we use for raking and clearing.
Okay.
A big C-frame rake.
You gotta stay busy, and you got lots of pieces of equipment and whatnot. Again, we talked a little bit yesterday about employment and so forth. So what does a guy need to do to get a job over here?
The best thing to do is call our office line or go to our website, www.rogerslandworks.com. There's a link on there where you can fill out application, gets emailed to our office. Call our office, stop by 275 Cemetery Road, Bunnell, Florida. We're there 7 to 5 every day, but we're hiring, for qualified help. We're a drug-free workplace, so you got to have experience, but we're hiring for dozer operators with experience in raking, excavator operators and land clearing experience, and then we're looking for good, heavy haul truck drivers. So equipment experience or, walking floor experience, we're definitely looking for you.
Oh, right on. Well, I'm going to have to say that anybody that's going to be applying for this job, they're going to have to keep up with this man.
Yeah.
This man stays moving, and he doesn't let anything grow underneath his feet. He's always moving. Speaking of keeping things moving and whatnot, this is definitely a lifestyle, I would have to say. A lot of guys say that trucking is a lifestyle. When it comes to what you do and what I've seen, again, you stay busy. How is that a lifestyle for you?
I started this business 7-8 years ago, and at the time, a little bit after I started and was steady working, I met Candace, and who's now my fiance, and it takes a special person to be able to put up with all this. So, people that want to watch your back. Sorry.
Yep.
People that want to grow a business. It's one thing enough to deal with being an owner operator, but then when you've got employees and they've got their own problems, it takes a special partner, you're going to be with to put up with all that. So make sure that, you're with the right person that supports that and wants to grow with you. Back when me and Candice got together, I had one truck, maybe 2 guys working with me and a couple trailers and one pickup truck. And now, she was currently employed elsewhere, and in the last 4 to 5 years, she's come and helped the company grow to what it is today.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have done it, without her either. Because, we're a team, and she's got her own thing going on, but we stay between 2 of us. We stay real busy.
That's cool.
But you got to be able to click with that person to be able to do that. They've got to understand, why you're out till 10 o'clock at night sometimes, why you're stressed, why you may be in a bad mood, because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not a rose garden.
Yes.
Especially if you got other goals in life and want to have nice things and want to have property and want to have all this stuff, it's not going to come easy. And that other person has to understand that.
Mm-hmm. Now, over the last 2 days, I've seen the amount of times that the phone has rang and the things that have to be rearranged. Even today, it's on a Friday. It seems like everything likes to go wrong on a Friday.
Oh man, it's been one of them days.
All of the juggling.
Chris, we've been running this truck. This was Jimmy. He usually runs this truck. He had off today, and we've kept busy, haven't we? I mean, It's been non-stop.
Yep. And I think you can probably keep going for another couple hours.
We
as
could.
Well.
We
Until
could.
the night. Obviously, you can't, but you got. From what I've heard, you got plenty going on.
Yeah, we have
done today.
So much work. It carries into tomorrow, this weekend, and Monday's already looking like a mess just because there's so much going on. So it's definitely, if you're looking to get some more hours and you're not making enough hours where you're at now, hours here is not a problem. And nice equipment.
Okay.
And a good work environment. Me and Candace, we're easygoing people. We don't get excited. Things are going to happen. It's just the way this business is. But one thing that I've tried to do and sets me apart from a lot of others is it's Friday at 2 o'clock, and what are we doing? I'm out here with the rest of them, and I'll be out here till it's done. Most people in my position are not going to do that.
Yeah, that is true.
So it sets a standard and respect that my guys have for me, unlike maybe other people may not have that same respect.
Yeah, for sure. So we're pulling back into the yard. As you guys just seen, we went across the crossing, and there's that little blue sign that's on the railroad crossing arm. Chase, what's been your take on some of these accidents that have happened where these guys get hung up on these crossings?
You know, I mean, that crossing is right here at the entrance of our yard. We go across it, you know, hundreds, thousands of times, and we know it well. And we know that when we're a certain weight, we need to, you know, we all run hydraulic necks on our low boys, that we need to pick up on the necks just to be safe, even though we don't need to, you know. But I understand some routes you may not know you're coming up on a low crossing or you get a detour, but I mean, here's my honest opinion. You know, most railroad crossings are going to be on not on interstates, obviously, so you know a crossing's coming up. You can see the signs and everything. I mean, if you're really unsure and you're really, you know, you're loaded and you don't know about your clearance, I mean, try to get to a stop. You've got strobe lights, flashing lights. I mean, come to a stop, you know. If you're that heavy, you've got a pilot car, they've got lights, can sit behind you. Come to a stop, get out and take a look at it, and take the time to raise your neck. I mean, you know, or inflate your bags, whatever you need to do. But, I mean, I understand accidents happen, but you do get hung up on the railroad crossing before. If it's that bad, you need to call that number. That way they can work on, you know, stopping the train.
Absolutely.
That number's 24/7, you know, at every railroad crossing. But that's my honest opinion is when you get in that situation, try and stop beforehand. You know, you're better off stopping, getting out and looking, and if you know it's going to be a problem, if you can't get it high enough, you know, call the sheriff's office and have somebody come sit behind you with lights on until you can get it figured out. But that's a lot better than getting into an accident with a train.
Absolutely. And then ending up on the old TikToks and the YouTubes and the Facebooks and
famous. Yeah, you end up famous.
Everybody laughing at you.
And then back to, you know, you want to talk about an insurance claim,
yeah,
and that'll put you out of business.
That is true.
So you got to be really careful with that kind of stuff.
Yes. That is not the way to publicize your business.
Nope, not at all.
Well, Chase, you said this is machine number 5 that you got moved today.
That was it.
Is today done for you or what?
I'd like it to be, but unfortunately we're going to have to go after number 6.
All right.
Well, but that's all part of doing whatever it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've enjoyed the last day and a half here at the Landworks. Super impressed with what you guys got going on.
Well, we appreciate it, Chris. You're more welcome anytime to come on over. It was a good 2 days.
Yeah, man.
It was good, even with all the BS we may have had to deal with. It was a good 2 days.
Well, you know, you may call it BS, but you handle it like it was supposed to, and I didn't see any hiccups.
I try.
Yeah, right.
I try.
But if I come back, I'll be, you know, I'm wearing my boots now, but if I come back, I'll be wearing the boots and gloves, and I'll have expected to be on some equipment doing something.
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day and week to come over here.
All right. Sounds good, man. We'll see you.
Appreciate it.
I enjoyed my time here at Rogers Landworks, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video as well. I'm glad that I followed my intuition and coming over here to check out what he had going on with his company, and I was more than impressed. It's just remarkable what he and the crew, his employees, get done and what they do around these local areas. Again, if you guys have some other companies that you want to get featured, get them in contact with me. I'd love to try to work something out. And because there's more than likely there's hundreds of stories like Chase's that are out there that we don't know about just yet. So send me an email at chris@bigregvideos.com. Let's see what other companies we can get featured on the channel. Until then, see y'all later. Have a good one.